In Revenge of the Sith, after Mace Windu has seemingly defeated and disarmed Chancellor Palpatine, who has just been ousted as the Sith Lord behind the Clone Wars, a distraught Anakin enters the room. The three briefly share words, just as the seemingly defeated Dark Lord leaps back to life, shooting giant torrents of lethal force lightning from his fingers with more magnitude than we have ever witnessed before. Windu, though, is able to raise his blade in time. However, as he does so and catches the lightning, something peculiar happens. Instead of Windu's blade simply absorbing the lightning like we have seen before, Palpatine's lightning is forced back on him, as it even begins to damage the user of the ability and the source of the power, and although Windu is strained, it does not appear to hurt him. But why does this occur, and why didn't Windu's blade simply absorb the attack like any other lightsaber would? The answer to this is quite intriguing. The answer actually has nothing to do with Mace's lightsaber, but having to do with Windu himself. If Windu had been an ordinary Force user, his weapon would have simply absorbed the attack, but as we know, Windu is not an ordinary Force user. The key to why this happens is Mace's lightsaber fighting style, that being his specialized variant of Form 7, Vaapad. As has been explained before, the key to Vaapad is channeling your opponent's aggression back towards them in what Windu described as a superconductive loop, letting the dark side pass through you but without letting it corrupt or alter you. By achieving this form and mindset, when a Darksider emitted an attack, force-based or not, it would have moved through the practitioner and back against its source. Throughout Mace's duel with Sidious, we hear of this occurring, but when the lightning is shot back at Palpatine, we actually physically see this occur. Just like prior during the duel, the ability is sent back towards its source, but instead of through lightsaber combat, the actual ability, in this case Force Lightning, can be seen and is actively deflected back. But this also raises the question, if the lightsaber were not present, would the ability still have been deflected back onto Palpatine, or would Mace have been exposed to it? If you were to ask me, I would say it would still be deflected back. Vaapad has been implemented in unarmed combat before, and the ability is more to do with one's body rather than their blade. The reason the lightning did eventually consume Windu is not because he was unarmed, but because his connection, or rather Vaapad, was disrupted. Vaapad requires near absolute concentration, and when Anakin severs Mace's hand, that is broken, allowing the lightning to pierce his guard and affect Windu. Again though, his lightsaber may have helped Windu beat the blunt of the attack, and had the rest be projected back onto Palpatine. This may also explain why Palpatine was not outright killed, as the torrents of that magnitude could have successfully killed anyone else. This leads me to the deformation of Palpatine. There are two explanations presented to us. The first is that his Force Lightning actually did somewhat literally melt his face, but the second and more likely option is that Palpatine's intense injuries were caused by his long and powerful immersion in the dark side of the Force. This explanation proposes that the lightning did not actually deform Palpatine, but it does remove his disguise and show his true face. So that is why Mace Windu was the only one who could have deformed Palpatine, or rather, why he was the only one able to rebound the lightning of the Sith Lord. So what do you guys think about this, and the fact that Windu was capable of such an ability with using Vaapad? Do you believe this explanation makes sense as to why the Force Lightning was rebounded back against its source, or do you prefer another explanation? Also, do you think Palpatine's disfigurations are there because of his deep immersion in the dark side of the Force, and that taking a toll on his body, or do you think the Force Lightning actually melted his face? If you have any future video suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below, as I check them often, and who knows, it might make it into a full video. If you enjoyed this video and feel it deserves it, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like, as it helps the channel overall out a great deal. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing to ensure you stay up to date with everything Star Wars related, from news, theories, and explanation videos. If you would like to contact and interact with me directly, the best place to do so is on Twitter at @StupendousWave. Thanks again as always so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.